But yeah, hit me up in the comments. And if you don't get this, I will meet you in Horizon Worlds. I'm not asking for any money for this.
With the king of the class, teacher Danny got the wisdom that's built to last. No chalkboard here, just a digital map. He'll take you to the future, no need to look back.
What's up? It's Teacher Danny, and I'm going to show you how to make a teleport asset with script from scratch. I'm going to teach you this in 3 phases, advanced, intermediate, and beginner. For advanced, I'm going to go over it real quick and just, maybe some people just want to look at my script and look how I did it, and they're done because they have enough experience. The intermediate part will go for a couple minutes where I'm just going to explain every piece of my script in detail. And then the third phase for beginners is how to build this entire thing from scratch. Absolutely nothing, to the point where we have a working functional script, objects and all, like you'll be able to teleport. So if you want to learn how to do it, definitely, you will 100% be able to do this if you watch the entire video. I'm assuming that you already know how to at least get into desktop editor and get into a world. All right. So let me show you now let's start the advanced part. This is where I'm just going to show you how I made it. So I have this trigger here. That's the trigger that has the script called TD Teleport, Teacher Danny Teleport. And I just put this archway around it so that way you could see where, the trigger was. Okay, so when I step into this trigger, it's going to go to the mountain spawn point. So if I click on it, I can see where it is, and it's going to take us to the top of that mountain. All right, so here, let's start the world. Where is that? Okay. So when I step through this, it should take me to the top of the mountain. And there I am at the top of the mountain. Ooh, you can do it. Nice jump. Wait, I'm back up here. All right. Let's look at the trigger. I didn't do anything to it. I just added the script and I plugged in mountain spawn as the spawn point. Okay. Now let's look at the scripting for that, right? So I have the teleport. I have the trigger here that has the teleport script. Let's look at that screen out. TD Teleport. It's super easy. We won't even need to scroll down. It's in 28 lines. All right. So first thing I did is I imported these 4 things from Horizon Core. A lot of times during my lessons, I will show you how to import one at a time as they're needed. I think this time I'm going to try to show. We're going to get to this part in the beginner part. So again, if there's something you don't understand that I'm talking about, don't worry. By the end of the video, you will. So now I'm just showing everybody the script, and we'll get into our intermediate part of the video. So experts, here's my script. Copy this exactly. You got it. And so we import these 4 things. I know that we're going to use them. In props definitions, I put in one thing, SP, for, it's just short for spawn point. And you have to call it, you have to tell it what type it is, prop types.entity. And again, whenever you put something in props definitions, let's remember, my intermediate students, that will show up here. See how it says SP right there? Where I have the little arrow? That's where we plug in which spawn point we want to go to. And see, it's called SP here. So anything we add in props definitions will show up there. So if we say 1, 2, 3, we probably can't name it all. P1, 2, 3, I don't know. So now if we save it, we're going to have a new prop type sim in there. It's going to be kind of weird. It's like, what's the point? But, All right. And let me click off of it and click back on. All right, see, and now P123 has a choice in there. You could put that in there. So I'm just trying to show you the connection between the two. All right, so let's get rid of that. I don't know what that was. All right. Then we have our actual function. I just kind of made this function from scratch. Here's the exact command as used. in Meta Horizon Worlds. This is like according to their API. This isn't so much a TypeScript thing as a Horizon thing. This top props.sp, which you know is in reference to what's in the props definition. Exclamation point is there because if you don't have it there, it knows that in this script that there's a possibility that you will not have this prop type built in. So if you put a exclamation point right after it, that's telling the computer, I absolutely will have a SP connected in there. So don't worry about it. That's not necessarily best practice. You know, you're supposed to like put something in to check it. Check if props exist. Props.sp even exists. And then if it exists, then we would use it. But we're not going to check. I know it's there. This is an extremely simple script, all right? So this .props.sp refers to the entity up here as a spawn point gizmo. So that means we're using it as the spawn point gizmo. That's why we imported spawn point gizmo, because otherwise that wouldn't work. See, if I erase that, I got all these. See, I erased spawn point gizmo. Now I got all these errors. But let's put it back, and now it's all good. Then spawn point gizmo has certain things it can do, and one of them is called teleport player. And you know, this is, I didn't make up teleport player. Like, that's something built in. All right. But what is calling this teleport function? When I say calling, I mean like starting it or triggering it or enacting it or turning it on or making it happen. What is telling this teleport thing who to teleport and when should it do it? Should it just do it all the time? No, it's not going to do it at all until it's told to. How is it going to be told to? Well, you know how every script, when you start it, always has this start function in it. The start function will happen. Nothing has to trigger it. As soon as the world starts, the start function is going to enact or be called or happen. In this start function, we're going to use something called connect code block event. And what that does is that listens for certain things that happen in the world. When I say listens for, it's like constantly checking to see or hear if a certain event happens. And these are built in. We're going to use code block events that are built in to Meta Horizon Worlds. These are pretty specific to them. And one of them is called on player enter trigger. Again, and when we get to the beginner part, I'm going to show you how we can come up with all this stuff. And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I promise we're going to do this from scratch. All right, so this connect code block event takes in three parameters. The first one is the target. The target is the object that this script is attached to. So this .entity. So that's all that is, this .entity. The second one is the actual code block event. We're going to use the built-in one. Sometimes you have to write new code block event, write all this stuff. For this, we're using one that's built in. So code block events dot on player enter trigger. So like, I was going to wait for the beginner portion of this, but I'm going to show you real quick. Okay. So if I just write code block events here, all right, it's nothing on its own. I'm going to hit period, and it's going to give me all these choices. These are all built-in things that you can use. You know, purchase start, multi-grab start, players AFK, whatever. We're using the one on player enter trigger. That's it. So the second parameter, code block events, on player enter trigger. And the third part of a connect code block event is a callback function. We don't need to get into why it's called callback function, but it's a function. This is going to happen every time this object hears a player enter the trigger. Now, because this is a built-in thing, this code block events for on player enter trigger, it comes with a certain piece of information. It tells you what player entered the trigger. You know exactly which player entered the trigger. So in the beginning of this function, you know, our argument is going to be the player. Okay, so I just wrote player as a variable, and then its type is a player. And then here's the function. I know a lot of times functions are shaped differently. This is just one simple way to do a function. It's called an arrow function. And then we're going to do this dot teleport player, which this is what we all made up here. Okay? So, like, if this wasn't here, that would have an error down here. It's like, what? What do you mean this dot teleport player? There's no function called this dot teleport player. But alas, there is. And that's it. Now we're ready to go to the beginner part. Okay. Oh, real quick, let me just show you how I think I already showed you how I connected it. And even if you're intermediate, I'm sure you know how it's connected. But basically, you've got to click on the trigger. You're going to click on the trigger again. Click on the trigger. Oh, did I not save my script? Control S to save it. Then so I click on the trigger. I'm going to put in whatever spawn point I want. I wanted it to be this mountain spawn point. See this, the one up here at the top. That's the one I wanted it to be. So again, click teleport trigger. I have mountain spawn point. I could just drag it in, or I could click on it and put it in. But anyway, all right, so that works. Oh, well, of course it works. We already made it and showed that it worked. And now we have to show that one works from scratch. All right, so let's make one from scratch. Here's the beginner's part. We're going to start a script. Let's just call it teleport. And once we open up teleport, my IDE might look slightly different than yours. I don't use VS Code. I use this one called Windsurf that was recommended to me, and I don't really get the differences between them, but I know I love this. I especially love using the AI that's here. I use AI for almost everything, but for teaching, obviously I want you to understand what the AI is doing, and that's why we're scripting things from scratch. All right. So first things first, let's do our imports. I know which imports you're going to need, so I'm just going to tell you now. All right. So import, and here's how I'm going to do import. I'm just going to put those curly brackets after import, and then after the curly brackets, I'm going to say from Horizon Core. And look, it's even a choice, right? From Horizon Core. Now import what from Horizon Core? Nothing. We're not doing anything yet. But now we can. Okay. We haven't imported anything yet. So now, let's see. Code block events, the one with an S. Okay, the plural one, not code block event. Code block events. Yes, we're gonna player. Oh, see, the AI is giving me suggestions, so I'm just tabbing through it. Prop types and then spawn point gizmo. And those are the ones we're importing. You see, they're all kind of like dim. They're not as bright. What are you doing? Because, well, player isn't, but that's because they haven't been used yet. So until they get used, they're going to stay dim. It's just a reminder that they're not getting used. Well, let's use prop types real quick. Okay, so we're going to go into props definitions there. And that was already in there. We're going to hit enter. So that way it gives us some space there. And we're gonna make a space in the properties panel for the spawn point. So remember on the Teacher Danny teleport, we have this space here, and this is how we connected the specific spawn point. That's what we're gonna do here in props definitions. So let's call it a new spawn. And when you make a prop types definition, you got to put the type, and the type is prop types dot entity. And you don't have to import entity. Sometimes you would, but not with prop types. Anyway. All right. See, if I didn't have prop types in there, see how prop types is highlighted now because it's being used? If I didn't have it in there, I would have an error. I would have to, you could just write hz.prop types. I'm not even going to explain what the difference is, but let's just import prop types. Okay, so now we're going to go to, now let's make our teleport function. Okay? It's like it's listening to me. Okay, teleport. So we're just going to make the teleport function, right? So there's just the base of a function. All right, we're going to pass a parameter in there. See, it already knows what we're going to put, but I'm going to type it out. Player. And the type of player, this variable, what type is it? There's strings and numbers and such. Well, this one is player, and it's uppercase player. And here is some specific code that just is for Meta. You just have to know it from Meta Horizon Worlds. I'm sure the AI probably told me, or I got it off of Wafflecopter's horizonhub.info. But whatever I did find out exactly what it is, and I'm going to tell you. Okay, so this is what we're going to say. First thing we're going to say is we're going to say what object we're referring to. So this dot props refers to all the props definitions. Now this one only has one called new spawn. So when I hit period, it's going to give me an option. If there was multiple there, it would give me all those options, but just new spawn. Okay, so this dot props dot new spawn. Now we're going to say, what are we doing with this? Well, we're going to use it as a spawn point gizmo. So let's put period as what? As a spawn point gizmo. All right. Now you see it added that question mark there. That's kind of an automatic thing that it does sometimes. And it's basically saying that it might not be there. You might, you still have to do that connection over here in the properties panel. And it's saying that it knows that there's a possibility there might not be anything there. You might not connect it. It doesn't know if you connected there or not. So that's why it likes to put that question mark there. All right. So this dot props dot new spawn as spawn point gizmo. And listen, if you're a pro and you're watching this part of the video and you're like, well, you're not supposed to use the question mark. You should use, you should check it. Listen, this is an extremely simple script. I just want to keep it simple. I don't want to get into deep in the weeds. I want to show people how to make a spawn point gizmo. All right. So now this spawn point gizmo, it's all built in stuff. So all we got to do is at the end, we put another period, and then we're going to have a built-in command called teleport player. And then we're going to put some parentheses there where we're going to pass in the player. This player is in reference to whatever player gets passed as an argument when teleport is called. When the function teleport. When I say a function is called, that means it's enacted or triggered or began or started or happens. So if we call teleport, I'm saying that teleport is happening now. All right. So when is it going to teleport? It doesn't know when to teleport. It doesn't just do things automatically. But you know what does do things automatically is the start function. So let's go into start function, and we're going to do something called a connect code block event. Code block events are these built-in commands that are specific to Meta Horizon Worlds, and they do a lot of very specific things in Meta Horizon Worlds. And one of them is, among many, many, many other things, is check when a person went into a trigger, and then it even passes the information onto your script. It tells you who the person was that stepped into the trigger. So the trigger, we're using it for teleport. There's so many different ways to use it. But no matter what, whenever you step into it using code block events, it can tell you which person stepped into it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to set up a connect code block event. So we're going to say this dot connect code block event. This is going to take 3 parameters. Okay, so I put parentheses at the end of this dot connect code block event. The first one is going to be the target, and the target is just this object that we're connecting it to, this trigger. So we're going to say this dot entity. And then we got to tell it which code block. Sometimes with this, you would say new code block event and add this code block event. Since it's code block events that are built in, we're just going to use that. So we're going to say code block events. It has to be the one that has an S on it. Dot. And see, look at all these choices it gives us. And we're going to choose on player enter trigger. On player enter trigger. And now the third parameter in here is going to be a callback function. Okay, so let's just write a little function here. Just a little arrow function. Okay. So here is just a function, but it's not doing anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this function. We're going to use this callback function to say, hey, do this teleport function. Do whatever teleport function is. Okay. So we're going to say this.teleport. And we're going to put in parentheses. Now, so it knows that we're talking about that function. Now, why is there an error here? Because in this, you see the AI keeps trying to fix it for me. But in these parentheses, I don't have anything. But in teleport, the actual function, well, it's expecting a player argument. The argument, I mean, is like the info, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pass this.teleport with the player. But it's like, hold on, what player? Well, remember how we said that on player enter trigger is a code block event that gives you information including what player entered the trigger. So if we just put this up here within the parentheses, it knows what it's going to put the player in. Now we're going to name it player. That's the name of the variable. And we could tell it it's type too. Let's do that too. Let's name it. Let's tell it its type is player. Okay. And this is it. It should work now. You know what? Let's do it. Let's put it together real quick, and then we're going to come back and review the script one last time from top to bottom. All right, I put this red cylinder there just so I would kind of know where the trigger was that I'm going to be putting down for this, so I know where it's standing. So I'm going to put it right there. So I went into gizmos, okay? I clicked, trigger zone, and I dragged it down. So it's right there. Let me make sure. Is it right on the ground? Sometimes it's like floating and I can't tell. No, it's right on the ground. Perfect. And let's give it, let's see, trigger. Let's name the trigger. Okay. New teleport. It's great to name things because we have so many similar things, So new teleport. Click on new teleport here on the hierarchy, or we can just click it here, in the viewer. We're going to attach a script. You already know. Teleport. It wants the new spawn point. So let's go get it a spawn point. Go to gizmos, spawn point. And let's name that spawn point. New spawn point. All right, so I'm going to click on the trigger because that's what has the script on it. This is what's waiting for the new spawn point. I'm going to see I have it here. I'm going to just drag it in. And it should work. Okay. Work. Yes. Okay, good. I was like, because when it doesn't work, sometimes I show the mistake or sometimes I edit it out. And I don't got that much time for all this editing. Okay. So again, and you could just move this, trigger wherever you want. You can move this spawn point wherever you want, and it doesn't matter. It's ready to go. You see, now it's like far away. Where did I even put it? Oh, back over here. Okay. All right, so let's peek at this script one more time. We import these 4 things: code block events, player, prop types, spawn point gizmo from Horizon Core. Then we're going to add within the props definitions that was already there. We're going to add this entity, new spawn, we're going to call it. Its type is prop types.entity. Then we made a function called teleport. The parameter is player. And I know sometimes I switch the word parameter and argument, and I use them incorrectly sometimes, but basically they're the things in there. And then we said this dot props in reference to the new spawn. So this dot props dot new spawn as spawn point gizmo dot teleport player, because teleport player is something that's built in to spawn point gizmo. And for this to even happen, though, for it to even listen for someone to enter the trigger, we have to do a connect code block event. That's going to have three pieces of information: the target, which is this dot entity, the code block event, which is this code block events dot on player enter trigger, and then another comma, and then the callback function, which is basically just saying this dot teleport player. Like all this, we could even put this in there. We could put here. We could just move this in there. We don't even have to call. We don't even have to call out the whole thing. We could just actually just do it right in there, and I can get rid of this whole teleport thing. Now we don't have. It's best practice to do it that way, but it'll work just like this. So here, I'm gonna save it. Let's go back one more time, and it'll still work either way. Okay, so either way is fine. Either we just call the function teleport player, or we just put in the whole function here. But let's go back to how I had it before. All right. So you do the callback function. It calls this function. It teleports player. That's it. Beginning and done. If you can't do this, let me know. I will meet you in Meta Horizon Worlds for free. I am just so sure that you can build this. And I really feel like I made a video that let even the biggest beginners create this and do it and make it work and have something functional in their world. And you got to learn a little bit more about the nuance of Meta Horizon Worlds. That's the point of this. It's really easy to figure out how to teleport using AI or, the code blocks that you use in VR kind of code blocks that you don't use the desktop editor for. But now we understand a little bit about prop types, a little bit more about importing. We learned a little bit more about using a spawn point gizmo and the built-in things. And the most important lesson here is using connect code block events. Man, those are really convenient. There's so many things you can do with it that are specific to Meta Horizon Worlds. But yeah, hit me up in the comments. And if you don't get this, I will meet you in Horizon Worlds. I'm not asking for any money for this. The people who pay me money are usually people who are already building stuff. Okay, I am down to teach new people, but as for this, absolutely free. You will learn how to. Okay, I think I made my point. Thank you very much. Check me out and subscribe. You had to say I can't do the whole video without saying that, right? Because nobody thought to do that until I brought it up. Teacher Danny out. I wanted to show you real quick. I do use, there are plenty of assets you can use. And here in the public asset library, look, this one by HomeMed. This is a teleport script. It's got sound. It's got visual effects. You step on the little trigger, a little puff of smoke comes out, a little sound effect, and then you teleport. That works right out of the box. Okay, but this is Teacher Danny, so we're gonna build something from scratch.